Okay. In 2 minutes? Ooh. Good morning. We're about to get started soon. Good morning. My name is Shantae Palmer, she, her, hers, and I'm the student representative on the MLK Week Committee, class of 2025. I would like to personally welcome you to our keynote address, The Fierce Urgency of Now. The committee was excited to re-image this vital celebration with week-long events this year. This week, we have gone through the importance of action, being beyond the chaos, and sustaining this commitment to justice, leading us to this discussion, the urgency of now. Starting off our celebration, I would like to welcome our VP of Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity, Cheryl Nunez.
Good morning. I wanted to note that it is quite fitting that we're gathered at the College of Wooster to commemorate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. It's fitting because that legacy was significantly shaped by the transformative influence of education. Dr. King, as many of you know, was a product of a strong educational tradition. Like one of his first teachers, his father, he earned a bachelor's degree from Morehouse College, where he majored in sociology, penning a paper on the purpose of education. He went on to earn a Bachelor's of Divinity at Crozier Seminary and a PhD at Boston University, where under the influence of great thinkers and social philosophers, he further honed his commitment to social change through the tenets of love and nonviolent resistance. As Dr. King found, education liberates us from the shackles of conformity and status quoism, to encounter new ideas of how the world can be and indeed should be. It is those ideas that have long animated the involvement of students in the movements for civil rights and social justice. The sit-ins of the Greensboro Four, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Freedom Riders, and the Children's Marchers in Birmingham, among countless others, have been students able to link the lessons of their classroom with their own lived experiences. It is education, too, that has fueled them with the optimism to believe in their agency to make change. Now, over the course of this auspicious week, we've been invited to reflect on the context of education as a catalyst for transformation. We've reflected on the degradations of microaggressions and the potential of microaffirmations to transform this culture into one of inclusion and belonging. That led by our own Professor Michael Miyawaki. We were guided by Wooster alumnus, Oberlin High School teacher, and National Teacher of the Year, Kurt Russell, to think about the importance of centering students' experiences in a reckoning with history. We learned from Reverend Gwendolyn Webb about the role that children played in Birmingham during the Children's Crusade. And today we will hear from Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson about the fierce urgency of now. clearly, 1 week is not enough, and that is because the project of radical change is continuous. It requires both self-transformation and structural change, driven by the fierce urgency of now. I would certainly, however, like to thank you for your presence throughout the week and for being a part of that important work. And now I will turn the podium back over to Chantal. Thank you.
We'd like to thank Vice President Nunes for those reflective words. Now I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson. Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson, known in her community as Dr. PBJ, disrupts burnout by refreshing the hearts and equipping the hands of overworked, undervalued heart workers, achievers who serve from a heart of purpose. Dr. PBJ is an educator of almost 25 years and an executive coach for more than 10 years. She holds a doctoral degree in education administration, served in executive leadership at colleges and universities, and facilitates leadership training as a faculty member for the Center for Creative Leadership. Dr. Jackson worked in higher education at many levels, from student assistant to president's cabinet, and is the recipient of several professional awards and accolades. Dr. Jackson founded EDU Care Training and Consulting LLC out of a purpose of pouring into those who pour out so much. Much of her work is specifically focused on equipping and refreshing educators. Compassionate workers can carry a high price tag: your mind, body, spirit, and relationships may be in distress as you serve the need of others. Dr. Jackson leads her community to serve well without paying an ultimate price. Currently, Dr. PBJ serves as a creator and host of the Disrupting Burnout podcast, as well as the founder and facilitator of The Well, where women in education leadership can draw what they need and share what they have learned. Now, with great honor, please help me welcome Dr. PBJ.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor. It is such an honor to spend just a few minutes with you all today. And even yesterday, thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for having us. I am Dr. PBJ, and you can really call me that. That's what my friends call me. It's been an honor. It's been an honor to be here. Before I get started, I just want to give honor to your president, President Webster, and your cabinet members, all of your faculty members, staff members, your students. The students of Wooster, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Everybody else can pick what they need, but I came specifically for you. I am always grateful. I'm grateful for good human beings who will call your name in rooms where you're not present. I'm grateful for people who will welcome you into their community and make you feel at home. I'm grateful for people who walk with you in life, no matter where you go, and have your back. I stand here today as a grateful woman. But I want you to know that I almost missed this opportunity. I almost missed being here with you today. Not this week. The airlines were okay. We made it all right. One little delay. We made it okay. But I almost missed not just being here, but everything that was meant for me. Anytime I hear somebody give my bio or give me an introduction, I have to think back to a room that I walked into many years ago. It was my undergraduate orientation, and my mother and my little sister, we drove up the night before, and we stayed over in Charleston, South Carolina, and my mom dropped me off in the place that I was supposed to check in. She went to find parking, and I walked into this room, and I didn't see anybody who looked like me. And I turned around, and I went to find my mama. And when I found her, I said, Mom, I don't want to do this. I said, I don't want to do this. I want to go back home. We'll figure it out. I get a job, but this was not a good decision. I want to go home. Well, if you have a mama like mine. She put one hand on her hip and the other finger in my face. She said, let me tell you one thing. She said, I closed my salon to bring you here. You stayed in a hotel last night. You had McDonald's for breakfast. Oh, you're going to stay. In that moment, I thought she was the meanest person in the whole wide world. In this moment, being a mama, standing in the middle of my purpose, I'm so grateful that she didn't allow my fear to stop me from what I was supposed to do. If she would have allowed me to run, I don't know that I would have spent the last 25 years walking through life with students from all over the world through one of the most critical times of their life. If she had allowed me to leave, I don't know if I would have made it to the first female dean of students at a university of over 100 years of history. If she had allowed me to leave, I would not have met Bryce and Angel and Shantae. So I'm here to honor Dr. King, but I'm here to honor Dr. King by giving you a charge. I'm here to honor Dr. King by igniting a fire in your heart. Because I believe the best way that we can honor Dr. King is not just by putting his name up in lights, but it is by doing the thing that we were created to do. So I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. I have a little mantra that I carry with me. I've had it all these years, and it helps me through the toughest moments. So if you will repeat after me with power, I won't make you do it 10 times. Yeah, is that a deal? Are we good? I can. I will. I must. One more time. I can. I will. I must. The I can means you have the ability. You are well able. You are capable. You are intelligent enough. You are strong enough. You are enough. When we say I can't, most of the time that's an excuse that means I really don't want to. But the truth of the matter is, there is a brilliance, a genius, a purpose that you were born with. You just wake up and you have it. You were born with, and you do something better, differently than anybody else. It's like your fingerprint. It's not like anybody else. You have an innate, unique value that you bring not just to the College of Wooster, but you bring to every community that you find yourself a part of. You bring it to your family. You brought it in high school, but often we don't place value on it because it comes so easy to us. It's like breathing. It flows freely from you because it's your thing. It's what you do. And I'm here to encourage you to connect and find that thing. And friend, it's not your job title. It doesn't matter what people call you. It's not your job description. Do a good job, but your purpose is more than that. If you are a faculty member in this room today, you don't just teach. Teaching is your gift, but what happens to a person when they encounter your teaching? What happens to a person when they spend time in the learning with you? What transforms in them? What changes in them? If you are a student and you have a student leadership position or you have a student assistant job, you're not just a student assistant. You're not just the leader of that organization, but there's something that you bring to it like nobody else. There's something that you naturally do. And I am here to tell you, I can't tell you how often I've seen that over the years we pushed that thing down because maybe somebody else looked at it and they didn't understand it. Or maybe there's a family member who wanted good for you but thought good was in a certain direction. So they tried to encourage you to go the way that they thought good was for you. But in your heart, you know there's more. In your heart, you know there's a fire that won't go away. You know that there's something that stays on your mind and stays on your heart, and you can't let it go. And it is your thing. It is your purpose. It's your brilliance. It is what you do. Dr. King said, he said, if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets, even as Michelangelo painted, or as Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. You've got to connect to that purpose. Not just passion. Passion is a temporary feeling. But the purpose, the thing that doesn't change. No matter what job you're doing, no matter what title you have a purpose on the inside of you. And I'm here to tell you, often it shows itself in turmoil. Often that fire shows up when things are not going well. You didn't even look for it, you didn't ask for it, but all of a sudden life is pressing against you and beauty starts to come out of you. And we don't like those pressing times because they're uncomfortable. And as human beings, we don't like discomfort. But I'm here to tell you some of the toughest times in your life came so that purpose could come out. I'll never forget serving as Dean of Students at Georgia Southern University the day we lost 5 nursing students in a car accident. And in that day, I went from breaking the news to the parents to writing an email that we would send to all of the community to let them know what happened that day, to standing before 200 nursing students for the first time to read the names of those students that we had lost, to going straight in front of TV cameras to represent the university, and straight from there to Greek Row to visit 5 different houses because each of those students were connected to a different organization. And in the midst of that, at some point, our president grabbed my arm and he said, Patrice, thank you. And I didn't have time to think. I didn't have time to put my words together. I said, sir, I was born for this. And I kept going. At that moment, I didn't know what I was saying. But now I know I do crisis. That's what I do. When I show up, it's because you need some support. When my phone rings, it's because somebody's going through, friend. You don't call me just to go to the movies. That's not how it works. Because it's my shine. It's my brilliance. It's my purpose. It's what I do. So I encourage you, when life gets tough and things start pressing on you, I want you to pay attention to what's flowing from you. What's coming out of you? Because often that pressure brings out your purpose. I also want to tell you, and I want to encourage you to not compare. Your brilliance cannot be compared to any other person. It's like your fingerprint. It is unique to you. So often, especially in a community of high-achieving students, instead of looking at our own story, we pay attention to what someone else is doing and how they're doing and how we compare to them. I'm here to tell you that comparison is a thief and it's a distraction. We need you and all of you and what you bring. We need you, the extrovert. We also need you, the introvert. We need you, the psychologist. We also need you, the creative writer. We need you, the economist. We also need you. We need the engineer. We need you to be yourself. And I'm here to tell you, being anything or anybody else is exhausting. It will wear you out trying to fit into the mold that somebody else created for you. When you were not created to fit into a mold, you are the mold. You are the mold. So do not compare what you bring and who you are. Whatever naturally flows from you. If you are naturally quiet, then we need that quietness. If you are naturally boisterous, then we need that volume. If you naturally come and you kind of shake things up, then that means it needs to be shaken up, friend. If you unite people and bring them together, then we need that unity. Whatever you uniquely bring, whatever you do, that is the shine that we bring. That's the I can. You can because you have the ability. Next is the I will. I will. I will means I make a choice. I choose purpose. Not only am I able, but I decide. And I'm here to tell you, some days you have to decide more than once. There's some days that you wake up and you're ready to conquer the world, and you're ready to go take that exam, you're ready to do that research, you're ready to go out and do whatever you need to do, and before you hit the door, life knocks the wind out of you. That's the most important time to say I will. That's the most important time to make the decision and to choose purpose. That's the most important time to decide, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep breathing. I'm going to keep stepping. I will keep serving. You have to choose the I will. I want you to know that purpose is not convenient. We wait for things to be perfect before we step out. I'll wait till I get that good job. Or I'll wait until I graduate to do the thing that I'm called to do. Or I will wait until I have all the resources that I need. Or I will wait until I have the right network. Purpose is not convenient. And the waiting only holds you still in your place. It's the doing that gets you into action and allows you to see progress. So don't wait for it to be convenient. In speaking with President Kennedy about the March on Washington for freedom and jobs, Dr. King, or the president, was saying, look, this is not a good time. Can we talk about this happening at a different time? This is not a good time. And I love this quote from Dr. King. He said, frankly, I have never engaged in any direct action movement which did not seem ill-timed. Your purpose is going to cause you to do some things that does not feel like it's time and doesn't feel like it lines up. But it's needed. It's needed. Purpose is also through collaboration. Purpose flows through collaboration. There are people and organizations that you need to connect to that have purpose and values that align with yours. One of our problems today is there's too much competition. Many of us are competing with folks that we are supposed to be collaborating with. And I'm here to tell you that the most powerful movements came because different groups of people came together to work together. Nobody worried about who's going to get the glory, but everybody focused on the outcome that is needed. The March on Washington, there were 6 different civic groups that came together to make that happen. 6 different groups, not worried about the credit, but just worried about the outcome. And there was outcome. We're here. We're here together. So I want you to know your purpose is going to cause you to collaborate. And I also want you to know that your purpose is going to cost you something. I often think and wonder how Dr. King would feel about all of the fanfare. I stopped to think what he would think about the holiday and parades and the books written about him and his quotes used, those quotes that are chosen to be used. I often wonder how he would feel about all the ways that we honor him today. And hear me, he deserves the honor. He does deserve the honor. But I will not allow you to be bamboozled to think that he received that honor while he was alive. I want you to be keenly aware that as Dr. King walked out his purpose, he was stabbed, his home was bombed, people shot into his home with his family there. He led marches and freedom rides where people were attacked. He was indicted, he was arrested, and ultimately he lost his life prematurely, leaving his family behind. We talk a lot about the benefits of doing what you're called to do. I want you to know that sometimes there's a cost. And I want you to do the purpose whether you get the pat on the back or not. You see how we honor him now. That is not what he experienced while there was breath in his body. Sometimes you have to do what you're created to do, whether you're appreciated or not. You don't do it for the applause. You don't do it for the accolades. You don't do it for the attention. You don't do it for the recognition. You do it because it's purpose. And will those things come? Goodness is attracted when you work in purpose. But purpose is going to cost you something. But the cost is worth it. Let me end with this. The last thing is the I must. So I can, I will, I must. The I must speaks to the urgency of now. Dr. King said, we are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. This is no time for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action. This is a time for vigorous and positive action. This is a time for vigorous and positive action. What was the this? What was going on that Dr. King referred to as this? This is the time. Well, here are a few things that were going on. There were violent acts against civil rights demonstrators. There was harm by the hands of those who were tasked to protect them. Work and wage discrimination. Broken promises and agreements ignored. Legal decisions that were made that were not honored. People denied access to resources and opportunities. Critical legislation stalled in Congress. This is the time. This is the time. This is the time. As I read that list, and I was not born when Dr. King was here, but it feels very familiar to me. It feels very familiar to what we see and what we are experiencing and what we are going through as we are coming through a pandemic and all the layers of pandemics that we have experienced over the last 3 years. I'm here to tell you that this is the time, the fierce urgency of now. Now is not the time to stop. Now is not the time to quit. Now is not the time to give up. Now is not the time to run away. But now is the time to stand up and work together. Now is the time for purpose to flow. Now is the time for you to do the things in your heart that you know you were created to do. The civil rights movement was not just about people who had a lot of age or a lot of experience under their belt. Much of the movement was driven by fierce young people who wanted a different world, not just for themselves, but for their families to come. So I want to encourage you. The I must is you recognize that it's not just about you. Whatever you accomplish, whatever you're created to do, it impacts your community. It impacts everybody that you are connected to. And you make a decision either way. If you do nothing, you've made a decision. If you take action, you've made a decision. I want to encourage you to decide, to take action, to do the things, the steps today that you are assigned to do so that you can make an impact, not just here at Wooster, not just wherever you go after this, but for the rest of your life, while there's breath in your body, to make an impact on this world. Because you are well able and you are equipped. So one last time and I'll get out of your way, but you got to do it real good. You got to do it real good. I want to hear you. I can. I will. I must. Thank you all for having me today.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson, for the amazing message. We are truly grateful for you joining us for this week. The committee and I would like to present you with this gift of our gratitude. We wish you all the best. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We want to thank the MLK Day Committee for 2023, Marketing and Media, the event planning team, Creative Dining, and our administration for all their efforts to make this week event possible. Please join us from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the Lowry Center for our Civic Engagement Fair and meet local and campus organizations. I wish you all a wonderful day and weekend. Thank you.